Picture this. It is a Tuesday morning in 2026. A man named Marcus, 34 years old, earns $58,000 a year, pays his taxes, does everything right, opens his banking app while drinking his coffee. He does this every Tuesday because something always feels slightly off, and he can never quite explain why. He scrolls through the transactions. The car payment, $687. The insurance on that car, $210. The streaming services, he counts 4 of them, $61 combined. The gym membership he has used twice this month, $49. The credit card minimum payment that seems to never go down no matter how many months he pays it, $175. The lottery tickets he buys each week because, well, someone has to win, $40 this week alone. Marcus sets his phone face down on the table and stares at the ceiling. He earned more money this year than he has ever earned in his life, and he has less savings than he had 3 years ago. Marcus is not unusual. Marcus is the median. In 2026, surveys consistently show that a majority of people earning between $50,000 and $80,000 annually, solid middle-class incomes in most developed economies, report that they feel financially stuck. Not poor, not desperate, just permanently, inexplicably stuck. The question this video is going to answer is not, why does Marcus spend too much? Marcus is not careless. Marcus is not stupid. Marcus is operating inside a system that was designed with billions of dollars of behavioral research, psychological engineering, and institutional architecture to extract money from him as efficiently as possible, while making every single transaction feel reasonable, necessary, or even smart. Today, we are going to name 12 of these traps, and we are going to do something more important than just listing them. We are going to dissect the business model behind each one, because understanding how the trap works is the only way to stop falling into it. Welcome to Global Economy Today. If you are new here, this channel exists to explain not just what is happening in the global economy, but why and how the systems behind the headlines actually function. Subscribe right now and turn on the notification bell. The content on this channel is designed to make you permanently smarter about money. Now let's take apart 12 systems that are currently taking apart your financial future. Trap number 1, the new car payment. In 2026, the average monthly car payment in the United States has crossed $700 for new vehicles. When you add insurance, fuel, maintenance, and the invisible cost of depreciation, the average American is spending between $1,100 and $1,400 per month on a single depreciating object. Here's what the business model actually looks like from the other side of the transaction. Automakers discovered decades ago that the psychological barrier to buying a car is not the total price. It is the monthly payment. A $55,000 vehicle spread over 84 months at 6% interest feels like $850 a month. Manageable, reasonable. The total paid, including interest, is closer to $70,000 for a vehicle worth perhaps $25,000 at the end of the loan period. This is not new. Alfred Sloan, the architect of General Motors in the 1920s, built the modern car industry not on better engineering, but on installment financing and the annual model change. 2 innovations designed to keep Americans perpetually upgrading, perpetually paying. The system is now 100 years old. It has simply gotten more expensive. A reliable used car purchased outright eliminates this trap entirely. The wealth difference between a person who buys used vehicles in cash and a person who finances new ones every 4 to 5 years, compounded over a working lifetime, is often measured in hundreds of thousands of dollars. Trap number 2, the subscription that multiplies invisibly. A single subscription costs almost nothing. That is the entire genius of the model. Netflix, Spotify, a news site, a fitness app, a cloud storage service, a meal planning tool, a password manager, a meditation app. Each one is somewhere between $5 and $20 per month. Each one feels trivially small. Together, they are not trivial at all. In 2026, research on household subscription spending shows that the average consumer significantly underestimates their monthly subscription total, often by 40 to 60%. People guess they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions. The actual average is closer to $220. And crucially, studies show that between 30 and 40% of active subscriptions are for services the subscriber uses less than once per month. The subscription model was pioneered by software companies in the 2010s because it solved a problem that had plagued software sales for decades: the one-time purchase. A customer who pays $200 once is worth $200. A customer who pays $15 per month and forgets to cancel is worth potentially $1,800 over 10 years. The entire architecture of the subscription economy, the difficult cancellation flows, the auto-renewal defaults, the free trial that requires a credit card, is designed around the behavioral reality that human beings are far better at starting things than stopping them. Audit every recurring charge on your bank statement. Cancel everything you cannot immediately recall using in the past 2 weeks. The annual savings often exceed $1,000 to $2,000 for the average household. Trap number 3, the lottery and the mathematics of engineered hope. In 2026, Americans spend approximately $110 billion per year on lottery tickets. That is more than they spend on books, video games, movies, and sporting events combined. The expected return on a lottery ticket is roughly 50 cents for every dollar spent. This makes the lottery, mathematically, one of the worst financial instruments ever created. Yet participation rates are highest among lower-income households, precisely the households that can least afford a guaranteed 50% loss on their financial decisions. The business model is built on what behavioral economists call availability bias, combined with narrative salience. Every lottery advertisement features winners. The $1.5 billion jackpot winner is on television, in the newspaper, across social media. The 400 million people who bought tickets that week and received nothing are invisible. Our brains systematically overestimate our probability of winning because we can easily recall examples of people who have won and cannot easily recall the statistical reality of what the odds actually are. This pattern is not new. State-sponsored lotteries have historically been used to fund public infrastructure, from the construction of early American universities in the 17th century to road-building programs in the 20th. The funding mechanism is always the same. Extract small amounts from large numbers of people by selling hope at a 50-cent return. The only thing that has changed is the scale. Trap number 4, the payday loan and the debt carousel. Here's a business model that has existed in various forms for centuries, now perfected with digital precision. You need $300 before payday. A lender offers it for a fee of $45. 2 weeks later, you repay $345. If you cannot, you roll it over for another $45 fee. The annualized interest rate on a typical payday loan in 2026 is between 300 and 400%. This is not a misprint. 300 to 400% annually. The industry knows, from its own internal research, that the majority of its revenue comes not from first-time borrowers who repay on schedule, but from repeat borrowers trapped in rollover cycles. The product is not designed to solve a short-term cash problem. It is designed to create a long-term extraction relationship. The business model requires the trap to function. In 2026, approximately 12 million Americans use payday loans each year. The industry generates around $9 billion in annual fees. The arithmetic of who pays those fees, and why, reveals one of the most efficient wealth transfer mechanisms from poor to wealthy that the modern economy has produced. Trap number 5, the credit card minimum payment. This is perhaps the most mathematically devastating trap for ordinary people because it is dressed in the language of responsibility. You received a bill, you paid something, you met your obligation. Here is what is actually happening. A $5,000 credit card balance at 24% annual interest, close to the 2026 average for variable rate cards, paid at the minimum payment each month will take approximately 17 years to pay off. The total interest paid will be roughly $6,300. You will pay $11,300 to borrow $5,000 for 17 years. Credit card companies are required by law to disclose how long it will take to pay off a balance making minimum payments. They print this number on every statement, and yet minimum payment behavior remains one of the most common financial patterns among cardholders globally. The reason is a combination of present bias. The future cost feels abstract. The current savings feel real, and the way minimum payment amounts are calculated. They are set deliberately low enough to feel manageable while maximizing the duration of the debt and therefore the total interest extracted. This calculation is not accidental. It is the product of decades of financial product optimization. Trap number 6, the new smartphone upgrade cycle. In 2026, the global smartphone market generates approximately $500 billion in annual revenue. A significant portion of this revenue comes not from first-time buyers, but from existing smartphone owners upgrading functional devices to marginally better ones. The average smartphone today is replaced every 2.5 years. Independent testing consistently shows that the performance improvement between a flagship phone and its 2-year-old predecessor is, for the overwhelming majority of real-world use cases, imperceptible. The cameras are slightly better. The processor is faster in benchmark tests that never reflect actual daily use. Apple's product roadmap, which has been studied extensively by technology analysts, is built around a concept called planned emotional obsolescence. The phone does not stop working. It stops feeling new. Annual design changes, software updates that gradually slow older devices, and the cultural signaling value of having the current model create upgrade pressure that has nothing to do with functional necessity. Since the iPhone launched in 2007, a person who upgraded their smartphone every 2 years has spent approximately $12,000 to $16,000 on devices. A person who upgraded every 4 years, buying last year's model at a discount, has spent roughly half that for nearly identical functionality. The difference, invested in a low-cost index fund over 20 years, compounds into a genuinely significant sum. Trap number 7, whole life insurance sold as wealth. Life insurance is important. Whole life insurance sold as an investment vehicle is, in the assessment of the vast majority of independent financial analysts, one of the most inefficient wealth-building products available to ordinary consumers. The business model works like this. You pay a premium that is significantly higher than a comparable term life policy. The excess goes into a cash value component that grows, slowly at rates that typically lag basic market returns, while being subject to substantial fees and charges that are often not transparently disclosed at the point of sale. The insurance company profits from the spread between what it pays on the cash value and what it earns investing those funds in the market. The alternative, buy term life insurance for pure protection at a fraction of the cost, invest the premium difference in a low-cost index fund, has been shown to outperform whole life products in virtually every comparable scenario analyzed by independent researchers. The reason whole life is still widely sold is not that it serves the buyer better, it is that it generates significantly higher commissions for the agent who sells it. Trap number 8. The timeshare. The timeshare industry perfected high-pressure sales techniques over 5 decades. The typical timeshare presentation, a free breakfast, a gift, a 90-minute tour that becomes a 3-hour psychological endurance test, converts at rates that most industries can only envy. Buyers sign contracts for properties they will use perhaps 1 week per year, paying annual maintenance fees that increase regardless of usage, for an asset with a resale value that approaches zero. In 2026, a parallel industry has grown around timeshare exit. Companies that charge thousands of dollars to help people escape the contracts they signed in a moment of vacation-induced optimism. This industry generated over $1 billion in revenue last year alone. The entire timeshare architecture, from the free gift at the door to the closing room where the final manager makes you a special offer you can't refuse, is a step-by-step system built on decades of behavioral research about how human beings make decisions under social pressure, time constraints, and the optimism of holiday environments. Trap number 9, designer goods and luxury signaling purchased on credit. Here's a distinction that is worth examining carefully. Buying a $3,000 watch because you genuinely enjoy fine craftsmanship and can comfortably afford it is a personal choice. Buying a $3,000 watch on a credit card you will spend 18 months paying off because of how it makes you appear to other people. That is a financial trap, disguised as an identity decision. The luxury goods industry is built on a business model that sells not products, but social signals. The $800 handbag and the $80 handbag serve identical functional purposes. The price differential purchases a logo and the perception of status that logo is supposed to communicate. In 2026, social media has turbocharged this dynamic to a degree that the industry's founders could not have imagined. The return on visible luxury consumption, in terms of social engagement, perceived status, and personal validation, has been engineered into feeds and algorithms in ways that create genuine psychological reward responses. The brain releases dopamine. The credit card company charges interest. The luxury brand grows. The buyer's net worth quietly declines. Trap number 10. Overpriced and mismatched higher education. Education is among the most powerful investments a human being can make. This is not a dispute. The dispute is about whether all education, at all price points, from all institutions, in all fields, at all points in life, constitutes a good financial investment. In 2026, total student loan debt in the United States has exceeded $1.8 trillion. A significant portion of this debt is held by graduates whose degree has not, and structurally will not, generate the income premium required to justify its cost. The core of the trap is what economists call credential inflation combined with institutional prestige pricing. The signaling value of a degree has remained culturally powerful even as the economic return on certain degrees has declined substantially. Institutions, aware that their product is purchased partly on emotional and status grounds, have raised prices at rates that dwarf inflation for decades, confident that demand will hold because the cultural norm of college attendance is deeply embedded. This does not mean education is a trap. It means that treating every educational program as automatically valuable regardless of cost, field, institution, or personal circumstance is a financial decision that needs to be made analytically rather than emotionally or socially. Trap number 11, the extended warranty and insurance on low-value items. This trap is smaller in individual scale, but worth naming because it operates at extraordinary frequency. The extended warranty offered at the point of sale on electronics, appliances, and consumer goods is, as an asset class, one of the best businesses in retail, for the retailer. For the buyer, the mathematical reality is that the vast majority of extended warranties are never claimed. The products they cover either never fail within the warranty period or fail outside it, and the premium charged reflects a margin that would be the envy of most financial products. The behavioral mechanism exploited here is loss aversion, the human tendency to feel potential losses more acutely than equivalent gains. You have just spent $800 on a laptop. The possibility of losing that $800 to a malfunction feels psychologically significant. The $120 warranty feels like a small price for peace of mind. Now, the retail industry knows that peace of mind is one of the most profitable things it has ever sold. Trap number 12, the comfort zone. The most expensive asset you will never see on a balance sheet. This last trap is different from the others. It cannot be purchased. It cannot be canceled. It does not appear on any credit card statement. But across the entire history of personal finance, it has cost more wealth than every other trap on this list combined. The comfort zone is the set of familiar, low-friction, low-discomfort financial behaviors that feel neutral but are, in practice, quietly expensive. The job you stay in because switching feels risky, even though the market would pay you 30% more. The investment you never make because learning about it feels complicated. The negotiation you never have because asking for a raise feels uncomfortable. The subscription you never cancel because the cancellation process is mildly annoying. In 2026, the average person will make approximately the same financial decisions they made last year and the year before that. Not because those decisions are optimal, but because the discomfort of changing them exceeds, in the moment, the benefit of changing them. This asymmetry, where the cost of inaction is large but delayed, and the discomfort of action is small but immediate, is the deepest and most universal financial trap there is. The companies and industries behind every other trap on this list understand this perfectly. Their products are designed to be easy to start and uncomfortable to stop. The entire architecture of the consumer economy is optimized around the human preference for the familiar path of least resistance. Here is where we land. What connects all 12 of these traps is not a conspiracy. It is a system, a rational, well-documented, historically consistent economic system built around one fundamental insight: that human beings make financial decisions primarily through psychology, not mathematics. We respond to monthly payments rather than total costs. We feel losses more sharply than gains. We overestimate our probability of winning and underestimate our pace of spending. We buy identity along with products. We stay in comfortable patterns long after they stop serving us. The companies that profit most from the modern economy are the ones that understand these psychological realities better than you understand them yourself. They have invested billions studying them. They have teams of behavioral scientists, interface designers, and pricing strategists whose entire job is to ensure that the gap between what you intend to do with your money and what you actually do with it remains wide and remains profitable. The philosophical conclusion is this: financial freedom is not primarily about income. It is about the gap between what you earn and what systems successfully extract from you. Close that gap, not through deprivation, but through understanding, and the arithmetic of wealth begins working in your direction instead of against it. Marcus, from our opening scene, does not need to earn more money. He needs to see the system clearly enough to stop funding it with his future. So do most of us. If this video changed how you see your financial life, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Hit the like button. It helps this channel reach more people who deserve this kind of honest analysis. Subscribe to Global Economy Today for more content that dissects the systems shaping your economic reality. And tell me in the comments, which of these 12 traps do you think is the most dangerous in 2026, and why? I will see you in the next one.